What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Nourish with Renata podcast. Now, today we are starting a brand new series where I'm answering your questions about nutrition and hormones. And so today's question is a really good one and a common one that I typically get. So, this woman asked me, I think I'm getting addicted to peanut butter. Am I going to get fat? Like I mentioned, this is a really common question that I get from a lot of women, especially because when we think about common fatty foods like peanut butter, what women tend to focus on is the word fat. And they think that if they eat too much of it, they're going to get fat. So, first things first, I want to say that we're going to dive into healthy fats today, why they're really vital to hormone balance, as well as fat soluble vitamin absorption for slowing down digestion, and honestly, for happiness too. So, to answer this question, which is such a great one, I'm going to focus on a few different things, such as what are healthy fats, what types of fats do we need to know about, as well as how much fat to eat. We all know that fats are calorically dense, which means that they tend to have more calories than other things that you might eat. So it is really to overeat them because they are delicious and it can add on some weight potentially, especially if you're overeating it. So that's why I want to focus on how much fat to eat as part of a daily healthy eating plan. Now, first things first, fats are part of the macronutrient family along with protein and carbohydrates. They are really a part of a balanced way of eating, and many people find it challenging to understand how much healthy fat to eat and the different types. So, we're going to get a high level overview of this today, as well as help you to learn how to spot different healthy fats and how to integrate them into your healthy eating plan without fear. So there are basically two different kinds of fats: saturated fats, like trans fats, and you've probably heard of that, and unsaturated fats, like monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats. Now, the word saturated in both of those names really just refers to the molecular makeup of the fat, so we're not going to get really hung up on that jargon. But the important thing to note are saturated fats and unsaturated fats. So let's go into each of these briefly. Saturated fats are often found in animal products. So we're talking about things like butter, ghee, lard, but also it can be in some plant-based products like coconut oil and palm oil. They're typically firm or a solid at room temperature. Overconsuming these saturated fats and trans fats have been linked to higher levels of what we call LDL cholesterol or bad cholesterol. And you've probably seen that if you've ever done any lab work. Now, unsaturated fats, on the other hand, are ones that are typically found in plants like nuts and seeds. They have been shown to be really helpful to reduce those LDLs or bad cholesterol, and they're also fantastic for lowering inflammation in the body too. Now, inside the realm of unsaturated fats, they're divided into monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. Monounsaturated fats are things like avocados, olive oil, almonds, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, and polyunsaturated fats comes from plants, but also fish. So you might have heard of things like flaxseed oil or fatty fish. They're great sources of polyunsaturated fats. In fatty fish in particular, they contain omega-3 fatty acids. These are our anti-inflammatory fatty acids, which we need to consume in order to reduce inflammation in the body. Our body does not create omega-3s like some other fatty acids, so we really want to get that from the food that we eat. So, we want to primarily focus on more of these unsaturated mono and polyunsaturated fats in our daily eating. And you might be asking why. And this is because these healthy fats, which come from whole food sources, are incredibly important for our hormones. So hormones are chemical messengers that control and coordinate many of our body functions, like reproductive system function, growth, development, how we respond to injury, stress levels, energy levels, and so much more. Fats are the building blocks of our hormones, and there's a symbiotic relationship with fats and how much hormones we produce and synthesize. So, for example, in 2016, there was a study that linked improved fertility with increased intake of dietary fats, specifically polyunsaturated fats, citing that these were associated with reducing the risk of ovulation not occurring. So, what this basically means is if we're improving our polyunsaturated fat intake, it helps us to ensure ovulation occurs. Other studies show that if we increase dietary fat intake, it can help with the menstrual cycle, improving your lipid and hormone profiles in blood work, and reducing blood glucose levels. So the bottom line is we really need healthy fats for lots of reasons, like hormone regulation, glucose levels, reducing inflammation, and of course, flavor for our meals. Not all fats are created equal though, which is why I always recommend whole food sources of fats, like nuts, seeds, avocado, coconut, etc. So be mindful of your healthy fat intake and aim for about 1 to 2 tablespoons of healthy fats at every meal. So going back to the question on peanut butter, which is primarily a form of fat, what I would recommend is making sure that it contains only the ground up peanuts and maybe a little salt. Many peanut butters will contain sugars and or palm oil, which can be inflammatory to the body. So always look at those ingredients. And by no means, if you're following the 1 to 2 tablespoons per meal, doesn't mean that you're addicted to peanut butter and that you will definitely get fat. So that is everything that you need to know about healthy fats in just a few minutes. And if you have any questions about healthy eating, nutrition, and hormones, let me know below. I'll see you in the next episode of the Nourish with Renata podcast. Bye, guys.